This channel is supported by TrueFire. TrueFire is an online library of lessons from some of my favourite players. There's thousands of lessons on there. You can use the promo code JNC40 to get 40% off of any of their courses. So I would say probably the Grammatico GSG100. It's based on a Dumble ODS. It is a new amp, as you'll probably be well aware, for 3.6. Up until this point, I think the best choices for kind of Dumble tones were things like the Lone Star, so the Cali Texas channel 1 and channel 2, and also of course the Line 6 Litigator. This amp of course looks a lot more like an actual Dumble. But the one downside that it has versus those other two amps is it's actually pretty tricky to dial in. So I wanted to kind of show you a few little options that I was enjoying. So to start off with, I kind of started off with Joe Bonamassa's kind of lead tones. I'm playing a Strat here. So this is kind of like that smoky, all open Dumble kind of tone. You'd see this drive here. I think this is kind of something that you want to experiment with depending on your guitar. You see, as you back it off, you get a little bit of a less aggressive tone all the way up. I'd start with the kind of tone stack sort of midway. I've got the bass here at 5, mids at 6, treble at 5, presence at 6 as well, because what I'm doing later on with the cab is kind of taking off some of the high end. On the real Dumble amps I've tried, there was quite a lot of presence to them. This doesn't. Seem to be influencing things hugely here. I think I got it on 6. Channel volume, generally with the Grammatico, you're going to want to keep a bit lower because basically it gets very loud. The master at 4.4 here. Anything over 5 in real life would probably be too loud for most situations. And plus it basically is a master volume amp. It doesn't make a huge difference where you got the master set in terms of positive tonal differences anyway. I've got it on the rock switch, jazz. Typically, in real life, I've really only seen people tending to use the rock thing. OD switch on, and here, the OD level actually does make quite a big difference kind of tonally. I guess this is how loud it starts to hit the master section. Or it might be placebo, but kind of 6 and 6 seem to be the Joe Bonham master thing, and was useful. Bright switch off, FET boost off, and the preamp boost off. I could use that if I wanted to get a bit more. I wanted to get a bit more, so I would use that probably as like a solo boost potentially, or you know, if you wanted to get a bit more without having a drive pedal. Sag actually does make quite a big difference here. 3.6 is the stock. If you want to close things off a bit, it gives it a little bit less of a stiff feel. Cab choice that I made here is the 1x12 open cast with the 67 condenser, and this is a slightly darker voice. If you want a bit brighter, 906. Also a good choice. And I guess even darker ribbon mics. I find the 67 condenser quite balanced, and a high cut here at 5.1. Without that, it might just be a bit too bright for you, so adjust that to taste. And I think it's the overdrive tones that are a little bit more difficult to dial in. So what I wanted to do was jump over here. These were all the same to start with, and basically for my clean tone, what I'd be doing is just turning this switch off. So then and the other thing that I'd do is probably take the drive down to something like 6 maybe, so that I'm definitely getting clean tones, and then maybe just chuck on LA Studio compressor. Maybe with a bit more gain. Let's just experiment a little bit further with this. So I've taken the drive down. I might just notch it up a tiny bit more. Because I think we're getting some clipping then, which I don't want. I want it to be clean. So the other thing I'd do is just take up the channel volume to compensate. And what I also think I might do is to take possibly a bright switch, or bring up the high cut here for the cleans. So if I go basically, it sounds pretty good for cleans in general, so you're probably not struggling with that, but the drive. Quite responsive to volume knob stuff as well. So what I might do on this snapshot one would be to have that basically be our lead, and then this one just kick on the PAB in case we wanted kind of two drive. And then clean. So I think the good news is that you don't really need too many blocks to get great tones out of the Grammatico. You just need to spend a bit of time, I think, tweaking it to your liking. And you know, you can get those kind of Robin Ford, Larry Carlton, Joe Bonamassa, all these kind of, you know, great tones are in there somewhere. John Mayer as well for your kind of clean stuff. Just a case of, I think, experimenting with different cab choices, and you know, experimenting. Potentially you might want that high cut if you're finding things too kind of fizzy. In terms of like really tight gain structures and stuff, I think that's not necessarily what the Dumble excels at, but it definitely does have this really kind of nice singing kind of vocal quality to it. So I'm really quite a big fan of it. It wouldn't necessarily replace the litigator for every single circumstance. I think the litigator still kind of has a really amazing feel to it and doesn't necessarily have as many pitfalls. Gumroad will be the place to grab this. I'll chuck this into the folder. It's called GramDumble, and I'll catch you in another video soon. Leave a comment if you've got kind of other settings that you've been enjoying with the Grammatico, so that other folks can maybe try some of them, and I'll catch you around in other videos potentially. Cheers.